playground at Riverside Elementary was buzzing with the usual afternoon chaos when Emma Rodriguez heard the scream that would change everything. She had been sitting on the wooden bench grading papers from her third-grade class while keeping one eye on her 5-year-old son, Jamie. As he navigated the jungle gym with the fearless confidence only children possess, the scream cut through the air like a knife, and Emma's head snapped up instantly. Her heart stopped when she saw Jamie lying motionless at the bottom of the slide, his small body crumpled in an unnatural position. The red plastic slide that had brought him so much joy moments before now seemed like a monster that had swallowed her world whole. "Jamie!" Emma dropped her papers and ran across the playground, her sandals slipping on the wood chips. Other parents were already gathering around, their faces painted with the universal expression of parental concern mixed with relief that it wasn't their child. Jamie was conscious but crying, his left arm bent at an angle that made Emma's stomach lurch. His tear-streaked face was pale, and he kept trying to move his arm before wincing and crying harder. "Mommy, it hurts," he whimpered, his brown eyes wide with pain and confusion. Emma knelt beside him, her nursing training from years ago kicking, and despite her panic, she could see the obvious deformity in his forearm and knew immediately that this was more than a simple bruise. "I know, baby. Mommy's here. We're going to get you help right now," she said, her voice steady despite the storm raging inside her chest. The rush to safety. Mrs. Patterson, another mother from Jamie's class, appeared beside them. "Emma, I'll drive you to the hospital. My car is right here." Emma nodded gratefully, carefully scooping Jamie into her arms. He was getting heavy at 5 years old, but adrenaline made him feel weightless. She held him close, feeling his warm breath against her neck as he buried his face in her shoulder. The 10-minute drive to Riverside General felt like an eternity. Jamie had stopped crying but was making small whimpering sounds that broke Emma's heart. She kept whispering reassurances, stroking his dark hair that was so much like her own. "The doctors are going to fix you up, sweetheart. You're going to be just like new," she promised. Though her own hands were shaking, the emergency room entrance loomed ahead, and Emma felt a familiar knot in her stomach. She hadn't been in this hospital since Jamie was born 5.5 years ago. Too many memories lived in these walls, memories she had spent years trying to forget. Familiar territory, the pediatric emergency department was organized. Chaos, children of various ages sat with worried parents, some crying, others surprisingly calm. The smell of antiseptic and the sound of medical equipment beeped a rhythm that Emma remembered all too well from her brief stint as a nursing student. The triage nurse, a kind-faced woman with graying hair, took one look at Jamie's arm and fast-tracked them through the initial screening. Within minutes, they were in a treatment room, and Emma was helping Jamie onto the examination table while trying to keep him calm. "The doctor will be right in," the nurse assured them before pulling the curtain closed. Emma sat in the plastic chair beside the table, holding Jamie's good hand. She studied his face, seeing so much of herself in his features, but also traces of someone else. Someone she had loved deeply and lost completely. Jamie's eyes were starting to droop from exhaustion and pain. When they heard footsteps approaching, Emma looked toward the curtain, expecting to see an older physician. Maybe someone she didn't know who could just fix her son's arm and send them home. Instead, the curtain parted to reveal a man who made time stop completely. Ghost from the past DR. Nathan Cross stepped into the room reading from a clipboard, his dark hair slightly mussed from a long shift. He wore the standard white coat over scrubs, a stethoscope draped around his neck. When he looked up and saw Emma, the clipboard slipped from his fingers and clattered to the floor. "Emma," he breathed, his voice barely above a whisper. The years melted away in an instant. Nathan looked older, more mature, with fine lines around his eyes that spoke of long hours and difficult decisions. His shoulders were broader, his presence more commanding, but those green eyes were exactly as she remembered them. Eyes that had once looked at her with such love and hope for the future. "Hello, Nathan," Emma managed, her voice surprisingly steady. Jamie looked between them with curiosity, sensing the tension, but not understanding it. "Mommy, is this the doctor who's going to fix my arm?" Nathan's gaze shifted to Jamie, and Emma watched as recognition dawned in his features. The child's face, while clearly resembling Emma, held unmistakable traces of Nathan's own features. The same stubborn chin, the same thick eyelashes, the same way of tilting his head when he was thinking.
What? Yes.
"Sweetheart," Emma said quickly. "This is Dr. Cross. He's going to take very good care of you." Nathan seemed to shake himself back to reality. He picked up the clipboard and moved closer to the examination table, his professional mask sliding into place despite the obvious shock. "Hello there, Jamie. I'm Dr. Cross. Can you tell me what happened?" Jamie launched into an animated explanation of how he had been pretending to be a superhero sliding down to save the world when he fell off the side of the slide and landed on his arm. Nathan listened intently, asking gentle questions while carefully examining the injured limb. Emma watched Nathan work, remembering how passionate he had been about becoming a doctor when they were together in college. She had supported his dreams, even when it meant long hours apart, even when it meant he would have to move away from medical school. She had been willing to wait to follow him anywhere until everything fell apart. "Professional distance? It looks like we have a fracture here," Nathan said, his voice taking on the calm, reassuring tone that all good pediatric doctors master. "We're going to need to take some x-rays to see exactly what we're dealing with, but I think we can get you fixed up good as new." Jamie perked up at this news. "Will I get a cast? My friend Tommy had a cast and everyone got to sign it." Nathan smiled, and Emma felt her heart clench at the familiar expression. "Very likely. What's your favorite color?" "Blue, like Superman's cape." "Blue. It is then. We'll get you the best blue cast in the whole hospital." A technician arrived to take Jamie for x-rays, and Emma started to follow, but Nathan gently touched her arm. "Could we talk for just a moment while they're getting the images?" he asked quietly. Emma hesitated, then nodded. She kissed Jamie's forehead and promised she would be right outside the x-ray room. Once they were alone in the hallway, the weight of 6 years crashed down between them. Nathan ran his hand through his hair, a gesture Emma remembered from when he was nervous or overwhelmed. "I can't believe you're here," he said finally. "Can't believe you're here either. When did you come back to Riverside? About 2 years ago?" I finished my residency in pediatric emergency medicine, and they offered me a position here." He paused, studying her face. "You look good, Emma. Really good?" She felt heat rise in her. "Cheeks, thank you. You look good too. Became exactly what you wanted to be." An awkward silence stretched between them, filled with all the words they had never said to each other. Nathan started, then stopped, seeming to struggle with the question. Emma knew what he was asking, and her heart began to race. She had rehearsed this moment in her mind 1,000 times over the years, but now that it was here, she felt completely unprepared. "Nathan, Dr. Cross?" The technician's voice interrupted them. "We're ready for you to look at the x-rays." Nathan nodded, his eyes never leaving Emma's face. "We'll continue this conversation after I take care of Jamie, okay?" Emma nodded, not trusting her voice. The diagnosis the x-rays showed a clean break in both the radius and ulna bones of Jamie's left forearm. Nathan explained that it was a common childhood injury, and that with proper casting and care, it would heal completely in about 6 weeks. Jamie was fascinated by the x-ray images, asking dozens of questions about bones and how they healed. Nathan answered each one patiently, his natural way with children evident in every interaction. Emma watched the two of them together, felt a mixture of joy and terror. Jamie was responding to Nathan in a way that seemed almost instinctive, so some part of him recognized a connection he couldn't understand. The casting process took about 30 minutes. Nathan worked carefully, wrapping Jamie's arm in the bright blue material while telling him stories about other brave children he had treated. Jamie hung on every word, completely charmed by the doctor's attention. "There we go, Superman," Nathan said as he finished the cast. "You're all set to save the world again, but maybe stick to ground-level rescues for a while." Jamie giggled and examined his new blue armor with obvious pride as they prepared to leave. Nathan handed Emma a card with his direct number written on the back. "Call me if you have any concerns about the healing process," he said formally, but his eyes conveyed a different message entirely. Emma took the card, their fingers brushing briefly. The contact sent electricity